Lieutenant Governor, thank you for joining Nevada Week.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are coming off a trip to Iowa where there was an annual meeting of lieutenant governors from across the country that you got to meet with. I wonder, when you discussed with them various issues about their state, what stood out to you about Nevada?
Yeah, that's the great thing about being lieutenant governor. I've been to actually 2 or 3 trips with my fellow lieutenant governors all over the country, and it's interesting, when a lot of them run as a team, a governor and lieutenant governor, when they run for election, they run as a team. Some don't, like here in Nevada. Some of them have similar responsibilities like I do. Some have completely different responsibilities. In Wyoming, the Secretary of State is kind of the second in command. So it's all over the place, but it's great. Louisiana Lieutenant Governor is involved in a lot of tourism issues, just like I am. So it's great to visit with him and exchange ideas on how we can, promote tourism and increase the tourism industry here in the state of Nevada. So I enjoy being with him, getting to make some good friends all over the country.
And you're enjoying this role.
This is it's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had. I get to be involved in tourism, which I have a background in, economic development, which I have background in, supporting small businesses, transportation. So the things I'm doing as lieutenant governor today, I've been doing probably in some fashion for the last 40 years. So I believe I know what I'm doing, and it's just great doing things that I enjoy doing and making life better for the residents of the state of Nevada.
And doing things that you have experience in.
Yes.
So while you were in Iowa, you, according to your Twitter, got to talk to companies about economic opportunities in Nevada. What is your pitch to them?
My pitch is Nevada's a great state. We have no income tax. Our taxes are fairly low. Our regulations are fairly low. We have an agency called GOED, the Governor's Office of Economic Development. If you're a brand new company coming to Nevada or you're expanding, you can apply for tax abatements. Some companies get $250 million in tax abatements. Some of them get $100,000. And for a small company, that's quite a bit of money. And they're bringing 50, 80, 100 new employees to the state of Nevada and really helping our economic base. I talked to them about the great places to live here in Nevada, not only in Las Vegas, but up in Reno and some of our rural areas. They're just great places to live. The weather's great. We don't really have any natural disasters. We had Hurricane Hillary last week, but it didn't turn out to be as bad as we thought it was going to be. But it's just a great state and a great environment to open up a business here in Nevada. And that's what I talked to them, and they're taking a look at our state.
How do you think Nevada compares to other states in terms of tax abatements?
We're actually pretty good. There's a lot of states that offer tax abatements, but we're definitely in the competitive edge when it comes to being able to put a package together for companies to come here. One of the things that we really need to work harder on is workforce development. So we need to really work on the industries that are coming here, making sure that we have people that have received an education or training in that particular area, like areas involving semiconductors, mechanical engineering, things like that. So we need to really beef up and be a little bit more robust when it comes to our workforce development. But we're doing that. The governor has it as his top priority. It's my top priority, working with our trades and our educational system to train up our people so they can go to work for these companies when they come here.
When you talk to these companies, what do you tell them about water use, and that if they do come here, their water use will likely be scrutinized?
Well, the water is always going to be an issue here in Las Vegas because we live in the desert. But we have, there's a couple of things to keep in mind there. 99% of the water that goes down the drain anywhere in Las Vegas ends up going back to Lake Mead. It's cleaned and goes back to Lake Mead. So we don't waste any water when it comes going down our drainage system. And we've done a great job capturing water that when it rains here, capturing that water, putting it into our flood system, and our flood canal system and going back to Lake Mead. We spent billions of dollars setting up a system where if that water comes down the mountain, it goes right back to Lake Mead. And our conservation efforts are, I would say, is probably the best in the country. We do a great job conserving water. We don't really waste a lot of water. You look at the housing that's going up today. We don't put in grass much anymore. It's rocks, it's astroturf. People are very conscientious about making sure that water isn't wasted. So we have to start with that. And companies know when they come here, they're going to be part of our community when it comes to making sure that we don't waste water. So we're okay with water when it comes to Las Vegas because we've done a great job making sure we don't waste it. And obviously, when you look at Lake Mead, you hate to see that big ring around the lake, but we're coming up with some good compacts with other states to make sure that we have water way into the future.
Back here at home, helping small businesses is a priority of yours. You were able to get SB 24 signed into law this past session. What does it do?
So SB 24 basically solidified an agency in the Lieutenant Governor's office. It's called the Office of Small Business Advocacy. We have 3 people that run that office. It's run out of the Lieutenant Governor's office. And it's basically does 2 things. So, for example, you want to open up a business. And you have a great idea, you have a great product, you know you can succeed, but you're sitting there going, well, do I get a city license or a county license, or do I go to the state? What are the regulations? Do I have to get something from the health district? And you know, your hair's on fire because you don't know what to do, where to get it. You don't want to violate any laws or regulations. So you would call our Office of Small Business Advocacy, and say, I want to open up a business. Can you help me navigate the licensing and regulation process? And we'll do that for you. We'll do that in a couple of days for you, so you can get up to speed and open up your business instead of you trying to navigate all that and taking weeks and maybe a month trying to figure that out. We'll get you open as soon as possible. So that's really our number 1 priority, is getting businesses through the navigation process.
Is that really the biggest issue that they're facing right now?
Yes. They don't know what the taxes they have to pay. They don't know if they don't get their license in time, they can get penalties attached to it, which can be expensive. So we want to make sure that all that stuff we'll handle it for you. So if you want to open up a business, you come and talk to me and we'll get you set up. And the second part of that is, while we're doing that, we're going to find regulations that really aren't necessary. We're going to find licensing fees that are really onerous. They're too much. We're going to find duplicate licensing fees where you go to the state and you have to get one from the city. So we're going to find out, why do you have to get one from the city? Why not just get one license? So while we're helping you out, we're locating issues that are really impeding businesses in the state of Nevada. We're going to try to get rid of those, whether it's an executive order from the governor, whether it's going back to the legislature in 2 years and talking to legislators saying, you know, here's 3 examples of things that we're doing today that are not necessary, that are really causing problems for businesses. We need to pass a law to get rid of them. So that's the second thing we do. And then the third thing is, we're just out there talking to businesses and finding out how we can help them in any other issues. So our office is very much pro-small, and we're talking about small businesses. We're not talking about huge businesses. We're talking about 2 or 3 people or 1 person that has decided they want the American dream and opening up their own business. We're going to help them do that. Back
to Iowa, you were able to visit the Iowa State Fair when you were there, and in addition to taking a picture with the big cow made of butter.
Yes. There was actually a cow butter, and I didn't take a picture with Mark Warner, the quarterback. There was a butter sculpture of him.
Wow.
And then there was another one I can't remember, but that was and the funny thing is, that butter has been recycled for 20 years. So they sculpture it, and then they melt it, put it in the fridge, and use it next year. So you're not going to put that on your toast anytime in the near future.
Gross, but no, they're using the same butter. Nobody's eating it. Okay, in addition to doing that and taking a picture with that cow, you took a picture with former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. Were you able to listen to any of the Republican candidates for president while there?
You know, a lot of them had already left. So we happened to be wandering around, and Governor Hutchison was there. He was the only candidate for president that I saw there. So I took a picture with him. We chatted for a little bit. I let him know some of the things going on in the state of Nevada. But he was the only one that I ran across, because there really weren't any others at the Iowa State Fair. But Iowa State Fair is absolutely phenomenal. The number of people that were there was unbelievable. They had alligator sandwiches and rattlesnake on a stick.
Do you think something like that would work in Las Vegas?
You know, I'm going to take a look at the Nevada State Fair, see how we're doing there a little bit more closely, and is there anything I can bring, any ideas from the Iowa State Fair that I can bring to the Nevada State Fair? Absolutely, I'm going to do that, because people were just having a great time. It was just a lot of fun. People just kind of forgot about their daily chores, and they were just there to ride the rides and eat different food.
But some were there to listen to the candidates.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you watch the debate?
I did.
Okay. Anybody stand out to you?
You know, the ones that were there, I really like Ron DeSantis. I mean, he's proven himself as an outstanding governor running the state of Florida. He's just proven himself with the things that he's done with his conservative values, and how he's really changed Florida for the better. So he's probably my favorite at this point.
Have you decided on endorsing him?
Not yet. I'm not. I've been asked by quite a few people for endorsements, but I'm going to wait. It's a little too early for that. So we'll wait and see. There's a lot of offices where not everybody's jumped in yet. So we'll wait and see what happens, but I'll be doing some endorsements in the future.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on the Nevada Republican Party holding a caucus just 2 days after the primary is going to be held, and in addition, honoring those results over the primary?
You know, I think the key issue is it's causing a lot of confusion among the people in Nevada. Obviously, the Republicans, they're looking at this and they're not sure, do I participate in the caucus? Do I participate in the primary? Do I participate in both of them? You know, do I vote in the primary, or do I just not vote in the primary and see what the caucus does? It's created a lot of confusion. We need to fix that before we actually do this. So the state Republican Party is in the middle of that, and I'll be talking to folks there. But I just think it's really it's to me it's easier just to hold a primary, let Republicans show up and vote, and see where the votes come out. There are some benefits to having a caucus, but it's just caucuses are a little bit more complicated. There are a lot more meetings involved. I like primary vote, just people just show up and vote. So hopefully we'll work all that stuff out, but it's really causing a little consternation at this point.
And what are your current concerns, if any, with election integrity? Because you have had them in the past, as recent as 2020 when you ran for Clark County Commission.
I have a lot of concerns about our election system, a lot. I mean, to me, the best system for having an election is you have election day, maybe a week of early voting. You show up to vote, you show your ID, we determine who you are, you're registered in advance, you vote, and it's done. Your vote is cast and it's over with.
So you wouldn't like same-day registration anymore?
No, and when it comes to mail-in ballots, it should only be for people that cannot make the early voting or election day that request a mail-in ballot. So if it was up to me, I would do away with the universal mail-in ballots. I would do away with same-day registration. I would do away with ballot harvesting, which is interesting. It used to be a felony to ballot harvest in Nevada 4 years ago, and all of a sudden it's legal and it's being done. So I would do away with all that. I would not mail out ballots to everybody because even Jimmy Carter, when he was president, he had a blue ribbon committee that looked at election integrity, and he said the best way to cheat and have fraud in an election is all mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting. He identified those two specifically, and he's a Democrat president. So I think all that is, you know, I can't tell you how much fraud and cheating there is because really we don't investigate it. But I guarantee you there's more in that system than in the system I just mentioned to you. Absolutely. So I'm very concerned about our election system here in Nevada.
And the Secretary of State, we recently had him on the topic of voter ID, showing an ID when you're voting. He argues that's already baked into the process when you register. You have to show a proof of identification, but you don't think that's enough?
No, absolutely not. I think there's nothing wrong with showing up at the voting place, showing your ID, checking it one more time, because we only want the person that's registered to vote voting. So why not show another piece of ID? You know, I just don't see that as hard. I've been to 2 banks today, and I had to show them my ID. It's not that big a deal, but I think it sends a signal to people in Nevada that we're really focused on making sure that our election integrity is number one. And we have to show ID, people understand why that is important. So I would still recommend that, absolutely.
And we are getting close to the end of this interview, running out of time, but I want to talk about tourism because as Lieutenant Governor, you are the chair of the Nevada Commission on Tourism. How does Nevada need help in this area? I wouldn't think Nevada does.
So if you look at tourism here in Nevada, Las Vegas has a very robust tourism support system with the Convention Authority, and I'm part of that. I'm part of making sure Las Vegas has a good support system. Reno Sparks has a good tourism support system, and I'm part of helping that also. But we have some great rural tourist destinations in Nevada, and they're the ones that I primarily focus on. I mean, I'm trying to get people to go to Ely, Elko, Winnemucca, Great Basin National Park, up in Fallon. The rest of the places in our state, we have some beautiful and outdoor recreation in the state of Nevada, and that's primarily what I focus on is rural destination tourism support. I'm here to primarily support the rural areas. I support Las Vegas and Reno Sparks, but it's the rural areas that need as much support as they possibly can. So
I saw you tweet about a rib cook-off in Sparks that's coming up as an example. Is there an overlooked area that you really wish not just tourists but Nevadans would go and check out?
So if you go to the Travel Nevada website, there's 10 road trips in the state of Nevada that we've identified. I'll be doing all 10 of those. So the ones that I will be doing coming up, I've already had scheduled, is the Cowboy Corridor from Carson City to Reno to Lovelock to Winnemucca to Elko and back again. And there's another one, the Great Basin trip, which starts in Las Vegas, goes to Caliente, Pioche, Panaca, up to Ely, Great Basin National Park. We're gonna visit the caves. We're gonna do dark skies. We're gonna see the eclipse up there. So keep an eye on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'll be letting you know all these great tourist destinations. So I'd like you to do a couple of these road trips. You would have a great time seeing the rest of Nevada.
I would love to. You are a traveling man, so we are lucky to have you in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Lieutenant Governor.
Great to be here.